right after this, everybody. And good evening, everybody. I'm Rita Cosby with an MSNBC special report on the Middle East crisis. As a new day dawns in the region, the world waits to see if an all-out war will erupt between Israel and Hezbollah. The death toll tonight, more than 210 dead in Lebanon and 24 in Israel, with hundreds more wounded. Foreign governments trying to evacuate their citizens. A chartered cruise ship expected to arrive in Beirut Tuesday to help the thousands of Americans who want to leave. But so far, the U.S. government has only evacuated dozens of Americans. Let's go now to NBC's Fred Francis, who is on the phone in Gaza tonight. Fred, what's the latest from the region?
Rita, already multiple strikes before dawn on day 7, especially in the southern suburbs of Beirut. Hezbollah headquarters, where they have not only their headquarters, but apartment buildings and schools and bunkers. And already before dawn, Israeli striking. At least 3 loud explosions heard throughout Beirut, according to sources up there. And so this promises to be day 7, just as intense, just as destructive, and just as much bloodshed as on Monday. On Monday in Haifa, Hezbollah missiles, 3 of them in Israel's 3rd largest city, one collapsing an apartment building, one seriously injured there. In return, Israel, more than 60 sorties, many of them around Beirut, striking port facilities where there are fuel, army bases, and again, more Hezbollah strikes, more of them in southern Lebanon, in the 20 miles from the Israeli border north, where for the last 6 years Hezbollah has been building bunkers and has arms caches. And there is talk, obviously, all day yesterday, and will continue today, about a diplomatic solution. The Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert has set down 3 conditions for that the 2 soldiers be returned that were kidnapped 6 days ago, that there be a Hezbollah move back 20 miles, and that the Lebanese army come in, something that they've wanted for many, many years, and it's not likely to happen anytime soon. Rita?
Fred Francis, thank you so much there in the region in Gaza. Now let's go to Jerusalem and Christian Science Monitor correspondent Raphael Frankel. Raphael, what is the mood there in Israel?
Well, the mood is obviously very tense. I mean, for the first time since 1991, we've had missiles strike very far inside of Israel, and people are preparing for more. We saw today, as Fred mentioned, a missile that the Hezbollah was trying to launch that might have been able to hit Tel Aviv. So people are preparing for, some long days ahead.
How would the mood and everything change if it does go as far as a missile hitting Tel Aviv?
Well, I would say that from the people I talked to around the center of the country and also even from up north, the country is really behind this campaign. They feel that they're completely justified. It's a war of self-defense. It was an unprovoked attack from Hezbollah. And they're steeling themselves for, possible casualties. But they view those casualties as part of a war right now that they need to fight and that they need to finish the right way so that Israel is more secure going forward into the future.
To that end, Raphael, is there a sense that obviously these strikes will continue, that it will get worse before any diplomatic, option is considered seriously?
It's certainly possible. The military is saying that it needs at least another week to continue hitting targets in southern Lebanon and Lebanon to further degrade Hezbollah's military capability. And Hezbollah has said that it intends to strike further into Israel and that it can. So it's very possible that the carnage could get worse before the diplomacy takes hold.
Raphael, stay safe. Thank you very much for the Christian Science Monitor there in Jerusalem at this hour. Meantime, Brian Williams, the anchor and managing editor of NBC Nightly News, is in Tel Aviv tonight with a look at the growing concerns over the situation there and around the region.
Well, Rita, first of all, let's begin with the brief situation here in Tel Aviv. As you know, a thoroughly modern metropolitan area when you include the seaside area of Jaffa, population 2.5 million people. They have all been told here to be vigilant, to take their bearings and take note of where the nearest shelter would be. That is in case Hezbollah gets off one of these longer range rockets, longer than we have seen heretofore in this conflict. The Israeli military told us today they think they'd be able to sound the sirens with 2 minutes notice for all the people in this metropolitan area to get to a shelter in that event. Again, these are largely unguided missiles. That is part of the terror in this area, part of the kind of the balance of power that is out of balance technologically, but we've seen that kind of firepower all day today. It is a thoroughly ordinary Monday evening here in Tel Aviv, we should quickly add. Also, the last time sirens were sounded in this city was the first Gulf War back in 1991. We want to go now, tonight, where the action is, and to do that, we will bring in our two veteran combat correspondents who are standing by to talk to us. Martin Fletcher has been in Haifa in northern Israel all day long, and Richard Engel in Beirut, Lebanon. And Martin, I'll begin with you. If you could summarize the day you've seen from your vantage point in Haifa.
Well, Brian, if you want to know what could happen in Tel Aviv, you just have to look at what's happening here in Haifa, a town that has also been stunned by these rocket attacks from Hezbollah, 3 days of it now. Today, it's all the time. I mean, today when we drove into town, we're just driving up towards the mountains here to the hills, when suddenly there was sirens, people began running, there was a panic in the streets, and then we heard a big thud. In the distance, we got in the cars and we chased the ambulances and the police, and we arrived at the building that was struck, a 3-story building, demolished virtually. Very, very fortunately, there were only 3 people in the building at the time. All 3 were wounded. We spoke to the neighbors. The children were crying. Everybody was shocked and stunned. The point is, Brian, that this is a strange kind of war. You know, all you get is a siren. You've got no idea what's going on. You run, and suddenly death falls from the sky. A rocket just falls on top of you. It's completely random death, random attacks, Brian. So very frightening, very scary, but also very resolute people who say, we're with the government. It's frightening, but they believe here very strongly that the government should continue their fight against Hezbollah until Hezbollah is smashed, to destroy this threat of rockets, Brian.
Which brings us over to Richard Engel, I should say north to Beirut. Richard, you and I were talking before we went on the air. For a young guy, you have the oldest looking flak jacket I've seen in some time. It has seen a lot of action. And so have you, being stationed in the very violent confines of Baghdad for the past several years. And yet, in the video we saw out of there tonight, it looked like New York after 9/11, the ash and the concrete powder. It looked like Baghdad. And this is a city they were so proud had just completed a long reconstruction project. Where does this leave Beirut to begin with?
Beirut right now is coming apart at the seams. Part of the downtown area, the Dahi neighborhood, where Hezbollah has its headquarters, I should say, had its headquarters. That building and all of the surrounding buildings have been completely destroyed. This city is suffering tremendously. Not only is its infrastructure under attack, the airport being hit every single day, today the seaports, but also the communities here are starting to feel the tension. There have already been some clashes as Christians and Shiites are fighting. Mostly it's the Shiites who support Hezbollah. There have been reports that Christian villages have not allowed in some of the refugees who've been leaving this city to go to Christian villages, which are considered somewhat more safe. And amid all of this, the Israeli airstrikes continue. They've been continuing tonight. There have been more than 10. Some of those airstrikes have been focused on an area where earlier today Hezbollah tried to launch a long-range rocket, the longest range it has in its arsenal, something that could go 60 miles, carrying a 1,200-pound warhead. Now, what happened was a Hezbollah rocket team was setting up in a van, actually not very far from here, to fire this rocket. An Israeli airstrike destroyed the van, but that blast sent the rocket up in the sky. It was a failed launch, and then the rocket actually started coming back down right towards us, but luckily it petered out and fell to the ground harmlessly. But it did send a lot of the reporters, including me, who were on that hill, running and scampering for cover. Brian?
And Martin Fletcher, let's talk about what, for lack of a better term, should be called, I guess, the balance of power here. The Israelis have such a huge technological advantage, and yet here is Hezbollah. The Israeli military confirmed to us today somewhere between 10 and 13,000 missiles they are sitting on in storage. The Israelis would love to know where they all are. So, Martin, I guess the question is, can you call it a balance of power?
Well, I think you can call it a balance of terror, Brian. Certainly not power. Obviously, Hezbollah is totally overwhelmed by the force that Israel's bringing, and so is the Lebanese government and army too. But the balance of terror is something you can talk about. The terror for Israelis of having up to 13,000 rockets in a very small area, facing these small Israeli communities. Okay, they've got bomb shelters, but they're trying to live their daily lives. Now, at the same time, you've got the Israeli planes and artillery and ships pounding away at Lebanon, people who don't have bomb shelters. So clearly, there's a disproportion. But this constant worry that Israel's had for years now, that Hezbollah is building up its forces on their border, backed by Syria, backed by Iran, money, weapons from those two countries, helping Hezbollah to build up this threat against Israel. So one man in a bomb shelter said to me, we're living, and he a very graphic description, he said, we're living with a knife at our neck now for years, and it's time to destroy that threat. And that's what Israel is doing. So the balance of power, obviously, is overwhelmingly in Israel's favor. But that balance of terror is a very serious thing. You've got about 1.5 million Israelis in the north of Israel living under the threat of rockets. In South Lebanon, you have about 1.5 million South Lebanese living under the threat of Israel. So there you do have a balance of terror, if not of power, Brian.
And Richard Engel, how's this going to work? This is all because, of course, Hezbollah has de facto control of South Lebanon, and yet absent an Israeli ground assault, an invasion, for lack of a better word, how can these pinpoint strikes, some of them not so pinpoint, how can these airstrikes by Israel go about the eradication of something like Hezbollah, and the charge is they're hiding these Katyusha missiles in private homes? How can they go about that eradication in a systematic fashion?
It's very unlikely that Israeli airstrikes would totally destroy Hezbollah. They could pull the teeth out of the organization. There have been 600 Israeli airstrikes in the past 6 days. They're continuing now. I can hear drones over my head circling. So it is unlikely that they would be able to completely destroy this organization in the south. Hezbollah has quite a bit of popularity in southern Lebanon. It is the state there. It is much more powerful than the Lebanese army. And the Lebanese army would not be able to move in and replace Hezbollah along the border. The idea would be to try and come up with some sort of negotiated settlement in which Hezbollah hands over the soldiers and pulls back away from the border, and the Lebanese government moves in. But the Lebanese government is not in a position to go in an adversarial role to confront Hezbollah militarily. One, it would probably lose, and two, that might even spark a civil war here, Brian.
And Martin, final question on hardware. All the households tuning in tonight have heard this word Katyusha over and over again. These rockets originally designed by the Soviets. They go back to late in World War II, the first design. Again, we've said a lot about their unguided nature. They do, depending on what they're tipped with, pack a wallop. You've come close in the last several days. How much destruction are they capable of?
Well, quite considerable destruction, but you know, they don't explode with a huge explosion that then devastates a large area. It's all a matter about how lucky is the rocket in terms of where it lands. So when it killed 8 people yesterday, it landed on the roof and it hit workers, a crowd of workers, so they died. But it's more about the direct impact. So the house today, for instance, that was destroyed, it was a direct impact of the rocket, but there was not a huge explosion that shattered houses houses on all sides in all directions. It was a very localized explosion. It's a very loud weapon. It's a very terrifying weapon simply because it just falls out of the sky and you have no no idea where it will land.
And that puts the terror and terrorism, and that is the random nature of this that worries the Israeli military. Our thanks to two of our veterans covering this ongoing conflict. Martin Fletcher, who is in Haifa in northern Israel tonight. Richard Engel in Beirut, Lebanon. Gentlemen, stay safe as we wish all our correspondents. And for our team here in Tel Aviv, Rita, that's it. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Brian. And we're going to have a lot more from Brian later in the hour. Coming up, European governments evacuating hundreds of their citizens today, but only a handful of the thousands of Americans in Lebanon have left. Next, we're going to talk to two American students who want to escape the bombing and go home. And President Bush with some harsh words today for Syria, saying it could get Hezbollah to stop the fighting. We're going to take a closer look at what Hezbollah really is.
Campbell's chicken noodle possibilities. Slurp it fast, slurp it slow. Good, it's fun, you know. Why have the same old mac and cheese? A wholesome slurp is sure to please. Possibilities.
We know responsibility sometimes means working a little harder. That's why really good students get a really good discount on their car insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? Liberty Mutual.
Like the leading mouthwash, Crest Pro Health Oral Rinse kills 99% of common germs that can cause bad breath, plaque, and gingivitis, giving you the mouthwash benefits that dentists recommend most, but without the burn of alcohol. Kills germs without the burn.
TD Ameritrade's Apex traders are among the best in the business, but they aren't always who you might expect.
I have my own way to trade. Sometimes I sell short, other times I'm long. I look for breakouts, sleepers. It can be risky stuff. So if I'm researching a stock and I need help, I want to know I can get it anytime at all.
The new TD Ameritrade. We understand what active traders need, like 24/7 support and our exclusive market huddle, where you get live market analysis from third-party industry leaders, plus powerful online trading tools, all free.
It's like anything else. You do your homework, it makes sense.
Get free trades for 45 days and $500 cash and $9.99 online stock trades. Call 877-TD Ameritrade.
Independence is the spirit that drives America's most successful investors.
Call, click, or stop by today.
Take the Hyundai Challenge during the Hyundai Challenge Summer Clearance. Test drive the sedan that beats Honda Accord. The new Hyundai Sonata with more standard safety features and interior space than Accord. Great fuel mileage and America's best warranty for $4,500 less than Accord. Now save even more, up to $3,000 cash back on Sonata. There's never been a better time to save thousands during the Hyundai Challenge Summer Clearance. Get a new Sonata V6 with up to $3,000 cash back at your local Hyundai dealer. Offer ends July 31st.
We're the Slowskis. I'm Bill, and this is my wife, Carolyn.
Hi.
We tried Comcast high-speed internet, but...
Everything downloaded so quickly.
Yeah.
We felt rushed.
Rushed
Yeah.
is a good way to describe it. With DSL, we can download way slower than Comcast high-speed internet.
It's perfect. I mean, his middle name is Slow.
My middle name is Matthew.
I was joking.
Oh.
Go way faster than DSL with Comcast high-speed internet. It's Comcastic.
Torn apart by civil war, now ground zero in a violent international conflict. Where will it go from here? An MSNBC special report tomorrow at 10.
19-year-old Lena O'Day on her first overseas trip alone keeps her suitcase packed, food stockpiled,
Mainly we went for dried foods like Chex Mix.
and updates panicked relatives about escape plans.
But I'm nervous about that because they're bombing the borders.
Lena is too scared to even sit by the window.
I'm saying, hey, you know, where are the Marines?
And tonight, while the U.S. military is preparing for a massive evacuation effort, thousands of British nationals have already begun their escape from the crossfire in Beirut. ITN's Tim Ewart has more.
Above the coast of Lebanon, a British military helicopter fires flares to protect itself against incoming missiles. This is not an act of war, but the beginning of an operation to evacuate thousands of British citizens trapped in the center of the escalating conflict in the Middle East. They are fleeing Beirut, and they are desperate to reach safety.
Layla Square. Layla Square.
They had gathered in the city centre, passports in hand, to be checked against a list of names. These are the first evacuees regarded as priority cases. Our presence here was not welcome. In this town, no one wants to attract attention.
Is it an official evacuation of
No,
British?
it's not. No, it's not an official one, no.
Who's organising it?
I'd rather not comment, if you don't mind. Thank you very much.
We took a journey ourselves today, not to safety, but into harm's way. This is the road into Haret Harek, the bullseye on Israel's target of southern Beirut. We chose what we hoped was a lull in the bombing, and could only enter following a car carrying officials of Hezbollah. And this, of course, is the worst nightmare of those now fleeing Beirut. The fear that somehow scenes like this in the Hezbollah heartland could be repeated across the city.
Well, this is a dangerous and a frightening place to be, and we're not going to stay very long. We're here right in the center of the area, which has been bombed by the Israelis. And the problem is nobody here, any of the people who live here or us, know when that bombing might start again.
But who is still living here? There was not a soul to talk to in the ruined streets, no one to recount the horrors of the past few days. Such images have terrified foreigners here. More than 1,000 French citizens packed onto a ferry. There was a real sense of urgency about their escape. The British, meanwhile, were hurrying to board helicopters. They're leaving everything behind. There's a limit of 1 suitcase each. These helicopters were bound for Cyprus, a first stop on the way to Britain. It's an operation that will gather momentum in the days ahead. No one knows when or if they'll be able to come back.
Tim Ewert, thank you very much. And tonight, more than 5,000 Americans are waiting to be evacuated from Lebanon. So far, U.S. military helicopters have airlifted only about 63 Americans to safety in nearby Cyprus. Tomorrow, those who are still in harm's way will be evacuated by air or by sea. The State Department says the military has chartered a Greek cruise ship that is able to carry 750 passengers at one time. That will be escorted by the destroyer USS Gonzalez. Also, 2,200 Marines will arrive within the next few days on the USS Iwo Jima to aid in the evacuation effort. And joining us now is State Department spokesman Sean McCormick. Sean, what do you recommend to Americans in Lebanon? Get out?
Right now, Rita, we recommend that they take assessment of their personal security situation, probably sit tight. We have a communications system set up in place with both the internet and by phone to let people know exactly where we are in the procedure to get them out of the country if they do want to go. We've advised them, get your papers in order, get your passport, birth certificate, anything you might need to get out, as well as one bag. Pack all your stuff up and be ready to go when you get the call.
When will the bulk of Americans be getting out of Lebanon?
I think in the coming days, what we've done so far is we have a helicopter air bridge that's been operating between Beirut and Cyprus. So we're getting out on the order of tens. We have about 64 people that we've gotten out. These are the highest priority cases, minor children that are unaccompanied by adults, elderly people, people with medical conditions. I hope in the coming days that we're able to move from moving tens to up to hundreds. And that's when we really get the sea leg online. We get military vessels in the region to get more and more people out. Everybody who wants to get out, we're going to try to get out.
You know, we hear that the cruise ship is coming in. You know, why is it taking so long? Because the French, other countries have gotten their individuals out.
Well, we're also operating on a large scale here. We have 15,000 Americans that are currently registered with the embassy, and our estimate is there are about 25,000 who are actually in the country. So we have to operate on a scale of trying to get thousands of people out. So you want to make sure that you have the assets in place, that you have the infrastructure in place, for instance, in Cyprus, once they land in Cyprus, so they're able to travel onward. So it is a very complex organizational task. We are working hand in glove with the DoD to make sure that we get people out in an orderly, timely, and safe manner.
Who is going to pay for all this?
Well, what happens, Rita, in terms of the cost of a flight or cost of a ship trip out of there, we have to charge commercial rates. We at the State Department are not authorized by the Congress to bear the burden of that. But
so the citizens will pay the cost?
Citizens will pay the cost, but it's a commercial rate. It's not an excessive rate. It's a rate that they might pay for a regular airline flight out or a ship leaving Beirut. So while certainly we as a government want to do everything that we can to get people out of there, that is one thing that we have to make sure that they do. If they don't have the funds immediately available, they sign a promissory note, and that just means that they'll pay the U.S. government back at some point.
Sean McCormick, thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, Rita.
And joining me now on the phone are two female students trapped at the American University in Beirut. Vanessa Aponte is from New Jersey, and Lena Audet, who we saw earlier, is from Chicago. The two women are waiting to be evacuated. Lena, I understand you just heard some bombing. Tell us about that.
It's been pretty bad. They're just hitting so close. That's the only reason why it's so bad. So as we lay on our beds, many times we either fall from them or just shake, and we're just kind of shaking. And, you know, the only reason that we want to talk to media so badly is just because we want them to know we're here and we want to get out and we don't feel safe at all, so that they don't leave us here. So.
Are you scared, Vanessa? Are you worried?
Yes, I am. I'm terribly worried. I'm actually roommates with Lena right now. I had to relocate my room. I used to be on the top floor, but the bombs are so bad, especially during the night. You know, we just come here to stick together so nobody's alone. You know, I'm just waiting to get out.
You know, Lena, what does it feel like when the bombs are going off?
I mean, of course it doesn't feel good. It's quite frightening. I could only imagine how it is for people in the South who are hearing it more regularly and hitting their backyard. It's just terrifying. The thing is that you can't control anything. It's just you feel like it's something bigger than you. That's why it's more frightening. It shakes everything. So it makes you feel almost like you're not a person anymore, because it's like you're just getting hit and hit and hit. And I could only imagine how people in Al-Dahia and southern Lebanon are handling this.
You know, Lena, I know you were saying that some of the bombs, it's morning now in Lebanon as we speak to you. How far away are these bombs dropping from you?
I mean, they just hit yesterday morning the pier and the lighthouse, which we could walk to the pier from my dorm, not even the lighthouse is not even a mile away from our dorm, and the pier is not even it's like I used to go to the beach all the time, 2 blocks away, and then right now it felt even closer, as if they're hitting I don't know, and maybe it's just because their missiles are so strong we feel it so well. Maybe they could be further, but I mean, it's just as if it was 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes away.
You know, Vanessa, when are you both planning on leaving, and how are you going to leave?
We don't know when we're going to be leaving, but, you know, we've been ready. The school basically told us that they have a small window to know exactly when and what time that we're going to be leaving, and when they do get the phone call, we want to be able to evacuate in about 20 minutes. So we're hoping that it's going to be today. Yesterday we had our hopes up, thinking that it was going to be yesterday or in the late afternoon, but we're really, really hoping that it's going to be today after hearing the last bombings, you know, within the past hour in the rockets.
Well, both of you, please be safe and keep us posted. We hope that you get back safe and sound. And coming up, everybody else, we heard from NBC's Richard Engel earlier. When we come back, what he saw in the streets of Beirut today. And is there any way out of the crisis without more rockets raining down? We'll look at the radical group that started it all, Hezbollah, when we come back.
There are so many aches and pains that keep you from getting a full night's sleep. But starting tonight, there's a new PM that has them covered. Introducing new Advil PM, the first and only PM with Advil. Now get multi-pain relieving power plus a non-habit-forming sleep aid to gently ease you to sleep. Nothing's proven better on tough nighttime pain. When aches and pains keep you up, there's new Advil PM. Stop hurting and start sleeping.
There are more than 29 million Americans without insurance who need help paying for their medicines. That's why there's the Partnership for Prescription Assistance. Through this free service, people who need help can call 1-888-4PPA now to see if they may qualify. Many get their medicines for free or nearly free, and I'm talking more than 2,500 brand name and generic medicines. Do you need help? Write down the number you see. It's your medicine. It's your life. It's your time to call.
You'd be surprised at how much fiber is missing from your diet. Introducing new FiberSure from the makers of Metamucil, the easy way to cook, bake, mix, or stir more fiber into your food. New FiberSure. It's just what you've been missing.
We've always wanted a home that's unusual.
With a view of the sea. Find your perfect place. It's easy at RE/MAX.com. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX.
Would you like to know how much cash you can pull out of your home and refinance your interest-only or adjustable mortgage to a low fixed rate? Then log on to ditech.com and use our free online e-appraisal calculator to find out how much your home is really worth. You can also lock in today's low fixed rate with no middleman or broker fees. At Ditech, we guarantee the lowest rate and fee, even if you have a credit problem. Log on to ditech.com or call 1-800-71-FIXED.
Treat your family to some fun food at Todai Restaurant. Todai is an all-you-can-eat seafood buffet with a great selection of mouth-watering dishes at affordable prices. Todai uses only the freshest ingredients and has a relaxed family atmosphere everyone will enjoy. From crab legs to delicious desserts, Todai has everyone's favorites, all served up with a smile.
Celebrate your birthday at Todai and your meal is free. Call ahead to reserve your table today.
Todai at Pioneer Place in downtown Portland.
Ever get the feeling your advertising is reaching the wrong people? Comcast Spotlight can help. With dozens of networks to choose from, you can run your message only on the shows your customers are watching. You can even target your message geographically to reach your customers where they live. Comcast Spotlight. TV advertising without the waste.
For more information, call our Portland office.
I'm Bill Fitzgerald, and here's what's happening. More deaths from the Indonesian tsunami are now being reported. An earthquake sent the tsunami crashing into beach resorts on Java Island. The Associated Press says at least 220 people are dead, dozens more missing. Thousands were forced to flee that area, which was spared by the devastating Asian tsunami of 2004. In Boston, more problems for the Big Dig tunnel, where a ceiling collapsed last week. Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney said Monday over 1,100 bolts near that collapse are unreliable. Inspectors have been studying the Big Dig tunnel since a woman was crushed to death last week. Gas prices continue to climb higher. The average price for a gallon of gas in the U.S. now stands at $2.99, and that's a jump of 2 cents from last week, and it's the highest since Hurricane Katrina disrupted petroleum supplies last September. At this time last year, gas was 67 cents cheaper. You're up to date. Let's go back now to MSNBC's special coverage of the Mideast crisis.
And welcome back, everybody. I'm Rita Cosby. Big news from the Middle East tonight. Explosions again in southern Lebanon, where it is already Tuesday, as thousands of Americans prepare to evacuate. Let's look at today's events once again with our NBC Middle East correspondents, beginning with Richard Engel in Beirut.
Lebanon is burning. 50 more Israeli airstrikes today, 600 in the past 6 days. But few areas look as bleak and punished and primeval as South Beirut's Hezbollah stronghold. Israel also attacked Beirut's port and factories, hospitals, and bridges across southern Lebanon.
I don't care about rockets. All I care about is that I don't pay the price for somebody else's crime, okay?
As we waited to file a report, we heard an explosion. Israel had attacked a van of Hezbollah fighters trying to launch rockets. But the airstrike set off a rocket. It turned out of control and headed right for us. but fell harmlessly. A close call for us and Israel. U.S. and Israeli intelligence say the rocket was a Zilzal-2, range 60 miles, a 1,200-pound warhead. With all of this today, the British Foreign Office organized the biggest evacuation of its citizens since World War II. And France mobilized as well.
French embassy officials say they don't know exactly how many of their nationals are being evacuated today, but that they will be allowed to come until this ship is full. Now, Americans are increasingly asking when it will be their turn.
At the American University in Beirut, Sarah Johnson from Natchitoches, Louisiana, can't leave her dorm.
You don't even flinch anymore when you hear missiles or sonic booms.
She keeps a blog, a main topic, the U.S. Embassy's slow response.
So far, I'm getting more information from my family back home who are watching the news than from the embassy.
Richard Engel, NBC News, Beirut.
Despite 6 days' heavy Israeli shelling, military sources here say Hezbollah still appears to have plenty of rockets to bombard Israel for months. 50 more Katyushas slammed into Israeli cities today. Loud, dangerous, terrifying. Haifa, Israel's third largest town, is getting the worst of it. As we drove into town today,
the people are running. There has been a Katyusha that fell, and there are casualties.
Then, just a few seconds later, half a house destroyed. 6 families live here.
This is what Israel feared, a direct hit on a civilian residence in Haifa.
Most were lucky, only 3 injured. The neighbors, like Gila Galor, traumatized.
I'm really afraid now. Me, I'm scared now, believe me. I have 4 children.
Israel also kept up its relentless attack. In Parliament today, Israel's Prime Minister Ehud Olmert spelled out his conditions for a ceasefire. Hezbollah must free 2 soldiers kidnapped by Hezbollah, stop all rocket attacks, and the Lebanese army must take control of the border with Israel. Until then, he said, Israel will continue with its campaign to destroy Hezbollah. Military analysts say so far Israel's destroyed about 25% of Hezbollah's strength. Hezbollah's rate of launching rockets has gone down from 200 a day to 50 today. But
it's still far from the end, and they still have thousands of Katyushas and dozens of launchers.
Gila is still at risk, but by evening she'd relaxed.
I'm sure we have good luck. We have this synagogue here.
As for her daughter, she's fine too. Military sources say Israel could keep attacking for another week or 10 days. That's how long they think it'll take to cripple Hezbollah. Now back to you.
Martin Fletcher in Haifa tonight. Meantime, President Bush flew home from the G8 summit today, and his frustration about the UN's attitude towards Syria was evident in a statement to Tony Blair, picked up by microphones at a luncheon.
See, the irony is that what they need to do is get Syria to get Hezbollah to stop doing this and it's over.
Well, as the world focuses on Hezbollah and Syria, the question becomes just what does Hezbollah hope to achieve? Here is NBC's chief foreign affairs correspondent, Andrea Mitchell.
As Hezbollah rockets reach farther into Israel, what is Hezbollah and what is its endgame? Experts say to prove it can damage Israel in ways Arab countries couldn't. Since Syria was forced out of Lebanon a year and a half ago, Hezbollah's charismatic leader, Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah, has become Lebanon's best-known and most controversial politician. A Shiite populist, Nasrallah provides social services where Lebanon's weak new government cannot, has ministers in the cabinet, and operates militias.
It has developed a terrorist cadre, an international terrorist infrastructure, and a powerful militia with weapons and capabilities provided by Iran and Syria.
What does Iran get out of this fight? It gets a proxy war that damages Israel and tells the world don't get too aggressive in the nuclear showdown.
I think that's very clearly one of the messages we're getting here. Don't mess with us. You'll pay a big price.
Syria also has an endgame to reassert control through Hezbollah of Lebanon's fledgling democracy. But what does Israel get out of this conflict?
They need to show that this cannot stand. Israel simply can't leave its citizens undefended in the face of all these missiles.
And why has the U.S. given Israel a green light? Experts say since the administration won't deal with Iran or Syria, having Israel fight Hezbollah is the only way to control the terror group and indirectly strike a blow at its chief sponsor, Iran. The risk, instead of helping Lebanon's government crack down on Hezbollah, Israel's barrage could cause that government to collapse, creating even more danger for Israel. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News at the State Department.
Andrea, thank you. Coming up, everybody, we're going to look back at the last 6 days that brought the Middle East to where it is right now. More than 200 people killed and 2 nations torn apart. And Israel may be a country at war under constant risk of another attack. But Brian Williams shows us that for many, life in Israel goes on as usual.
What happens if your business model changes every 4 hours? Because we consider what might change tomorrow, our customers can feel more relaxed about what might happen today. Zurich, because change happens.
One size doesn't fit all. That's why Dish Network offers something for everybody. So whether you're a parent wanting good, clean programming for the whole family, or want a package of America's top channels, or want to experience America's largest high-definition lineup, Dish Network has packages starting at just $19.99 a month. So whether you want a little or a lot, you can pick the one that's right for you. Pick your package, pick your price. Call today and pick your premium, too. Pick HBO, Showtime, Stars, or Cinemax free for 3 months. Dish Network, more choices for you. Better TV for all.
Between my 2 phone bills, it's probably about $60 a month.
About $150.
Probably $100 a month.
With Vonage, you get unlimited calls to anywhere in the U.S. and Canada, and all the cool features you could ever want are included. And it's just $24.99 a month.
Call 1-800-398-4813. Go online or visit these fine retailers.
Vonage, leading the internet phone revolution.
Thanks for calling Dell. What can we build for you?
Well, my family needs a new computer.
Great, let's get started. What do you think you'll be using it for the most?
My kids are really into games, and I do a little video editing, you know.
I'd set you up with the high-performance graphics card, and you might want a faster processor.
Yeah, you know, that's probably a good idea.
Okay, now let's talk about a monitor.
I was thinking about a 20-inch. But wait, let's step it up to the widescreen.
You got it. All right, you're all set. We'll send it right out.
Great, thanks.
At Dell, we don't build technology for just anyone. We build it for only one. You. Dell. Purely you. For just $449, build this Dell Dimension E310 with an Intel Pentium 4 with HT technology and get a 17-inch flat panel upgrade and free shipping.
Hey, Ted. See you next week. Yeah, see you, buddy.
Bye, Ted. Did you pick up the mail for us?
Yeah, okay.
Have a great weekend, buddy.
Looks like everyone's going away this summer, thanks to the Hotels.com Great Summer Getaway. Our experts have found amazing deals in places like New York, Orlando, San Francisco, and more. So log on or call now. Hotels.com. We know hotels inside and out.
Tomorrow on Scarborough Country, 25,000 Americans trapped in a war zone with no easy way out. How far is our government willing to go to bring them home? Joe investigates exactly what it will take to get every U.S. citizen to safety. Scarborough Country, MSNBC, tomorrow at 9.
We are very strong and we don't afraid from anything. We can stay here and we can do anything when the enemy come here. We will fight him.
Well, this crisis, not yet a week old, has unfolded with dizzying speed. Tonight, we take a look back at the last week through our correspondence.
9 a.m. This is all that's left of a morning patrol, ambushed by Hezbollah in a cross-border raid from Lebanon. 3 Israelis dead, 2 kidnapped, 5 more Israeli soldiers killed later. Israel's response was swift and brutal. Warplanes destroyed 8 bridges trying to stop Hezbollah fighters from escaping deeper into Lebanon with the kidnapped soldiers. Israel's Prime Minister Ehud Olmert called the Hezbollah ambush an act of war by the state of Lebanon against Israel. He warned Israel's response would be, quote, very, very, very painful. But Israel doesn't only accuse Lebanon.
Palestinians scramble to collect food today during the last distribution the UN says it can provide for now. Israel has locked down Gaza and is only letting in limited supplies. Gaza could run out of sugar, oil, and flour this week.
Israeli warplanes roared over Lebanon, bombing dozens of buildings and training sites belonging to the Hezbollah Islamic militia. Warplanes struck 140 separate targets, especially the international airport. Bombs smashed into all 3 runways, crippling the airport. International flights have been diverted to Cyprus.
The conflict that each day looks more like a war today came to Beirut. Israel bombed the fuel supply of 2 power stations and the airport for a second day. The Israeli Navy continues to blockade the harbors. Israeli military officials say an Israeli warship was hit by an unmanned Hezbollah aircraft rigged with explosives. Israel sent a strong message to the leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, destroying his office and home. An hour later, in a radio address, Nasrallah declared, quote, an open war on Israel. Here, an Israeli missile dug a crater 20 feet deep and set fire to nearby buildings. Lebanese boarded up shops. Streets were mostly empty. As I interviewed a young man who escaped fighting in southern Lebanon to Beirut, he learned it's not safe here either. But as casualties mount, many Lebanese increasingly criticize Hezbollah for kidnapping 2 Israeli soldiers on Wednesday and picking this fight with Israel.
It's a war of missiles, death from the air. Dozens of Israelis wounded today as Hezbollah fired barrage after barrage of Katyusha rockets at 20 Israeli towns and villages. But it isn't only Jews under attack from the Muslim militants, it's Israeli Arabs too. Northern Israel is also home to hundreds of thousands of Arabs, all under threat from the Katyushas.
Thousands more left Lebanon today. European embassies evacuated hundreds of their nationals. The U.S. Embassy is still working on a plan to transfer Americans out of the war zone to Cyprus, but not yet. At the prestigious American University in Beirut, now almost empty, students in the new women's dorm are stranded and worried.
Everything's blocked. We're out of options other than to just sit and wait and hope that the government's going to come and do something.
I'm not sure. I hope it gets better, but I can't be too optimistic. I just want to get out and go home.
3 Israeli shells exploded nearby while we were filming. No students were hurt. But as casualties increase across Lebanon, the Prime Minister gave an emotional plea for calm. He choked up as he called for the UN to broker a ceasefire between a militia his government can't control and an army it can't defeat.
9 a.m. The workers were just arriving to start fixing the trains. There was a tremendous roar, a smashing sound as the rocket crashed into the roof and tore straight through. No time to run or hide. But the attack on Haifa, its 3rd, led to the greatest loss of life in Israel since the fighting began. But it was another nervous day in Israel, with 1 million people now within rocket range of Hezbollah. Dozens of rockets fell during the day, including 9 more in and around Haifa. While we were at the train depot, another siren.
There's panic here right now. There's Katyusha rockets falling right now here in the port. The sirens are going, people are running away.
Certainly been an incredible week so far. And coming up, a close-up look at the region in conflict. How far into Israel can Hezbollah's missiles ultimately reach? Stay tuned.
Who doesn't love the fresh taste of Chips Ahoy?
I guess it's my time.
Chips Ahoy! In the new Snack and Seal package.
Keeps your cookies fresh.
I wish we had a big house.
I wish we had an affordable house.
Find your perfect place. It's easy at RE/MAX.com. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX.
For each of us, there's a moment of discovery. We learn that life is elemental, and this knowledge changes everything. We look around and see the grandness of the scheme. Sodium bonding with chlorine, hydrogen bonding with oxygen. And in the dazzling brilliance of this knowledge, we may overlook the element not listed on the chart. The missing element is the human element. And when we add it to the equation, the chemistry changes. Potassium looks to bond with potential. Metals behave with hardened resolve. And hydrogen and oxygen form desire. The human element is the element of change. It is a way of seeing that gives us a way of touching. Issues, ambitions, lives. The human element. Nothing is more fundamental. Nothing more elemental.
We know responsibility sometimes means working a little harder. That's why really good students get a really good discount on their car insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? Liberty Mutual.
Brought to you by your Lincoln Mercury dealers. Test drive a Mercury Mariner today.
Oh no, don't do this, Mom. Mark Henry destroyed Batista.
A champion, crushed and injured.
I am the world's strongest man.
Now, at the Great American Bash, Batista is back.
It's time to unleash the animal.
Batista returns to face Mark Henry. The Great American Bash. Live Sunday, July 23rd on Events in Demand pay-per-view.
For example, Lebanon can suffer from totally darkness. We are not doing it. We can hit water. We can hit other sources. We are not doing it because we don't want the Lebanese population to suffer because of the behavior of the Hezbollah.
Fierce new airstrikes continue at this hour in the Middle East, and the death toll is rising in this, the seventh straight day of fighting. Joining me now to shed some light on what's next for this region in conflict, as well as what's in store for those still trapped in the crossfire, is retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel and MSNBC analyst Rick Francona. Colonel Francona, I know you've got a map. Show us where Israel is under rocket attack from Hezbollah.
Yeah, we've got a couple of maps here that show this, Rita, and it's the Fajr series of rockets will go down as far as Haifa, 25 miles. We've seen them go just a few miles further than that. But the big concern is if Hezbollah actually has a rocket that will range Tel Aviv, and that's 80 miles south of the border. And that's well within the range of the rocket that was destroyed today in Beirut that our Richard Engel saw being destroyed. So if they're able to reach Tel Aviv, they're able to put over 3 million residents of Israel under a missile umbrella. And that's really troubling for the Israelis. It changes the whole dynamic of the conflict.
Yeah, explain us how it does change the war. If it gets into Tel Aviv, you know the biggest city there, what does that do?
Well, of course, in addition to just threatening the capital city of the state of Israel, it also changes the military situation because, as you know, Israel is demanding that Hezbollah pull their forces farther away from the border so far that they won't be able to strike into Israel. So if they've got a rocket that will go 80 miles, that means you've got to go push Hezbollah into Lebanon 80 miles. If you do that, you're going to push them up to the southern suburbs of Beirut. That's a tremendous amount of area. It's about 1/3 the size of the state of Israel. Is the Israeli army going to go up there and patrol that? Or is the Lebanese army capable of doing that? Or are they going to bring in international force? These are all questions that remain unresolved. The Israelis, I don't think, have a plan on what they're going to do if they're going to push them that far north.
Do we have a sense of how much Hezbollah infrastructure has been destroyed? We know there's been about 600 rockets shot from Israel, also missiles. We know the warplanes have come in. Has that done significant damage to Hezbollah, or is there still a long way to go?
Well, both. It has done significant damage, and the Israelis they were trying to quantify, 25% damage, but they're destroying 25% of what they know about. How much is in it that they don't know? Remember, Hezbollah has had 6 years since the pullout of Israeli troops in 2000 to hide things, to build facilities, to build hidden launch sites. It's a little surprising to many of us that the Hezbollah fighters are able to launch these rockets, and the Israelis don't seem to be able to find the launch positions. So it's a very tough problem to ferret this out from the air. And that brings up the next question. What's next? Are the Israelis prepared to mount a ground incursion into southern Lebanon?
We'll have to see. We'll have to see if it goes to that point. Colonel Rick Francona, thank you very much. All eyes, of course, on what the next move is. Coming up, more from Brian Williams in Tel Aviv, where life for many is going on as normal. We'll be right back.
That is stunning. You gotta put that on the fridge.
Thank you.
For what?
For this, for everything. On my budget, most agents would have given up on me. You must have shown me 20 different places.
It was about 34.
That's a lot.
What's a few dozen places between friends?
Century 21.
Why do I like working here? I'm part of something big. I'm part of the future. I bring people together and send smiles, literally. Michael's my son. We have a good time together. Michael thinks my job is pretty cool. But what I like the most is that Verizon Wireless works as hard for me as I do for our customers. Through our tuition reimbursement program, I earn my certification. As I grow, the company grows. I am Diane Mundy, Verizon Wireless Project Engineer. It's very exciting to be part of something like this.
$30,000. Do I hear 40? $40,000. Do I hear 50? 50,000. I have 50,000. Going once, twice. Sold to the gentleman in the center.
Hi.
Moving on. This is a 19.
Okay, I want to go ahead and sell it now.
Sell what?
That thing I bought.
Constantly buying and selling stocks doesn't make much sense either. That's why Edward Jones recommends investment strategies that have proven themselves over the long term. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
New improved Roundup. Now so effective, it even beats the weather. Now Roundup kills the root so fast, nothing can stop it, not even the rain. New improved Roundup. The best gets even better.
She's got it together, knows how to treat 'em right. Just mix it and bake it. It's Campbell's casserole tonight. Good, cheesy chicken and rice casserole. Possibilities.
Hey, look at me. Lock in. Crusher here has an extra deltoid muscle. Means he's got exponentially greater bucking propulsion. Now you lean back and you hang on. I'll be there.
New rodeo clowns are a lifesaver.
Rodeo clown? I'm with the birthday party. Hello! Oh, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Stay smart. Stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
Tomorrow, Lebanon, a nation torn apart by decades of civil war. Now, ground zero in a violent international conflict. How did the country end up in such crisis? And where will it go from here? The Mideast Crisis, an MSNBC special report. Tomorrow at 10, only on MSNBC.
The best news show that doesn't feel like one. Countdown with Keith Olbermann, weeknights at 8.
The message on the blackboard says, "Today is the worst day in my life." It was written by Aya Al-Siblani.
We were in our house quiet and everything. Then Israelis come and hit us. And my dad bring us to here to not be dead.
Well, Tel Aviv is in a state of emergency. But as Brian Williams found out today, everyday life goes on there.
Well, Rita, as we mentioned earlier, this metropolitan area of 2.5 million people is living on alert in case Hezbollah is able to fire off those longer-range missiles that would put Tel Aviv in their range. But here in this city, they appear to be taking this alert well in stride. This was a Monday workday, for some a Monday beach day in Israel's biggest city, where you wouldn't really know from looking at them that the citizens here have been told to be vigilant. Of course, the people of this city know how to be vigilant. They also insist on keeping their social life. Still, the locals tell us that some of the people you'll find dining out here tonight are from the north of Israel. They've been temporarily displaced from their homes. Life in Tel Aviv goes on. The firing, for now, is still far away, but could come closer. A possibility we discussed tonight with former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak. This city is Israel's New York. It is believed they may have these long-range missiles. What is the chance we will hear sirens in Tel Aviv?
You could hear it in an hour from now or tomorrow night. But as you mentioned, New York stood up after a very demanding ordeal in 9/11, and America was ready to respond.
And yet the nightclubs are open and the restaurants are open and people are going to work each day.
Yeah, we are tough and resilient people, probably much more than the Hezbollah assessed.
The former Israeli Prime Minister and decorated military veteran himself, Ehud Barak, part of our conversation with him earlier this evening on life here in Tel Aviv these days and nights. Rita, back to you.
Eyes open, you don't know what you're gonna see. If you look to your right, you'll see a tropical rainforest, huh? Lucky day. To your left, a scantily clad native. Kung Pao.
There's no substitute for a real vacation. So call now to apply for the City Advantage card, and you'll be on a fantastic vacation in no time. That's because every dollar you spend on purchases earns you one American Airlines Advantage mile, with no blackout dates.
We're seeing all sorts of things on this safari, kids.
Plus, you'll earn 20,000 Advantage bonus miles. So call now, 1-877-BONUS-15 to get started. You'll even get a free companion certificate with ticket purchase, all with no annual fee for 12 months.
Oh, kids, look! Caribou!
The City Advantage card. Turn everyday purchases into a real vacation.
Hey, look! A zebra!
Call City now to apply.